New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Why, good afternoon. It's Bonnie Gonzalez here. Yes, your doula for grief. I am here with you today, and I am just ecstatic. Today is, or maybe we're one day post-equinox. So just blessing Mother Gaia for being in balance and showing us how to achieve and strive for balance. Today, the night is as equally as long as the day, so we're in a complete balance in that way. And it is with a sad heart that I have to say that our beautiful guest, Sue Cacibauda, due to technical difficulties, is not able to join us on the show today. And she'll be rescheduled for the first Monday in April. Okay, so I just apologize, and Sue, sending love to you. Thank you so much for all your efforts to try and be here with us today. So now back to the task at hand, back to the discussion at hand. I say every week, especially if you're new. So if you're new, welcome. If you're returning, that's a big warm welcome. So if you're new, I just want to explain why I'm here. What am I doing here? Your doula for grief. Well, I am here to move grief from the back burner onto the front burner, to move grief out of the shadows of our lives and give it a front row seat, because grief in our society is just not discussed. There is no ongoing dialogue around grief. So that is what I am here for, so that we can make grief, remove the stigma around it, take it from the darkness and into the light. Because grief is a true human experience, and grief is caused by loss. And we all suffer losses in so many different ways. And knowing that loss is a part of our life, which is going to lead to grief. Let's talk about it. Let's prevent the suffering that can take place when people try and grieve alone. So that's what I'm doing here today, talking about grief, getting you comfortable with the idea of being in grief. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it, lie and say, oh, it's not such a big deal. It is a big deal. It is, and it is painful. But if we do this together, we can lighten the burden from each person. And just knowing that grief is just that normal, natural emotions that follows a loss. And it can include sadness, anger, numbness, confusion, guilt, anxiety, and joy. So just knowing that this is all normal, this is all natural, and grief has to be spoken. It's the validation of it that moves us, allows us to move into healing. And I love the expression, to grieve well is to live well. Grieving well leads to living well. And I just want to read something to you from Ayala Van Zandt, who is, in my opinion, a modern day priestess or mystic. And this is from her book, Acts of Faith. So just get settled in a comfortable place. And if it feels good, just kind of close your eyes so that you can just receive the words. She starts with, those who don't know how to lead with their whole heart don't know how to laugh either. Golda Meir. When we lose a loved one to death or end a long-term relationship, it is perfectly normal to grieve. We must honor and recognize each stage of the grief and every emotion we have. There will be shock, denial, anger, confusion, fear, helplessness, numbness, and eventually acceptance. There will be a point when we do not know what to do, but we want to do something. At that point, we must understand and accept that there is no death. There is no end. There is only transformation. Our loved one now exists in a new time, a new place, a new reality, and so do we. The relationship as we knew it has been transformed from the physical to the spiritual, from marriage to separation, from loveship to friendship. It has not ended. It has changed. When we allow ourselves to grieve, we release the negative thoughts and emotions that make it easier to accept the change. When we do not grieve, we get stuck. Grief is natural and normal and to be expected. We owe it to ourselves and to the memory of the relationship to grieve and cleanse our soul. And the affirmation that is offered is, I will take the time to grieve and prepare myself for change. Yeah, just be with those words for a minute. That you will take the time to grieve and prepare for the change. There is a reflection here. And the suggestion is, if you were talking to a Martian, how would you describe grief? If you were talking to a Martian, how would you describe grief? What is the blessing hidden in grief you would tell it to look for? What is the blessing in grief that you would tell that Martian to look for? And I would prefer not to just wrap grief up with a pretty bow and jump right into, life moves in this way and that way. Everything is a process to get to the other side. But what I would tell a Martian to look for in grief is that grief gets your attention like nothing else does. There is no other state, emotional state, that gets your attention the way that grief does. And you may say, what is what is so beautiful about getting your attention? What happens with grief? It gets you to slow down. As you know, in our society and culture, we live life very, very fast. And grief is one of those things that almost, I'll have to be careful with my words, but can almost just cripple you or paralyze you if you get stuck there. But it does get you to stop. It does get you to pay attention. It gets you to pay attention to your life in a way that other emotions can't or don't. It gets you to examine, what do I really want? Did I really want that relationship that maybe ended in divorce? Did I really, really, really want that job that I didn't get? And when you get there to say that that's what I wanted, it's like, why? Why? It's like, maybe it would make me feel whole and complete. It gets you to look at, well, how can you feel whole and complete if that relationship isn't there? What can you do to bring that joy in your life that you want? It gives you time to be responsible for your life, time for you to reflect back on what it is that you've wanted. And maybe just because of busyness or life just moves at such a warp speed that you don't always have time to really reflect that. Also, grief builds a sense of resilience that people often say, they just often say, if I can make it through that, I can make it through anything. That I've lived through that. Whatever comes, I'll be able to handle that. One of the other gifts that I would tell that cute little Martian is to it may be allowing it to refocus, to have a different focus of life. Maybe I've always been a nurse, but maybe suddenly I want to be a poet. Oh, maybe I want to be an exotic dancer. It gets you to focus on other areas of your life. And with that being said, when you start to focus in different ways, it's like with my glasses, getting a new prescription, suddenly seeing life with a bigger, not a bigger, but a new perspective. A new perspective. Seeing other, maybe colors, seeing them a little bit more brilliantly, seeing them a little bit more tangibly. It can really just illuminate your life. And as you're going through that grief, as you're moving to these steps, and that's why I say that's what a doula for grief does, helps you move through those steps of having in my own experience with grieving, like the loss of a lifestyle change, I coined it as a dark night of the soul, and reached out for help to move through that dark night of the soul, preventing myself from staying there and staying stuck. And yes, it was painful, but as I said before, building that resilience, that I went through that period. I went through it, and I did come out a changed person. I am not that person that experienced that a year and a half ago. I am a new person that has revived interest, reading more, which I had just lost the desire to read. And now I just, oh my gosh, it's like a whole nother world opens up. For me, when I start reading, it opens up a whole another realm, another possibilities of existing, a ways of being in the earth, on the earth. So, and I just want to point out one more item, or one more thought from this article. It just says, our loved one now exists in a new time, a new place, a new reality, and so do we. That is what I was really invited to look at, experiencing my own darkening of the soul. That I am existing in a new place that I had not experienced before. Also, the idea too is how uncomfortable are we with change. I'll just read this stanza again that leads to that. The relationship as we knew it has been transformed from the physical to the spiritual, from marriage to separation, from loveship to friendship. It has not ended. It has changed. And as you all know, and as I know, we are creatures of habit. We'd like to know what tomorrow is going to look like. And we'd like to know that tomorrow is based on today, that these things, this is what's going to happen, and this is what's going to happen. And I already know I can prepare. But change really puts us in that place, or has that ability to get us to start questioning our own faith, gets us to question our belief system. Change forces you to say, oh, am I feeling supported? Am I feeling afraid? Or am I feeling, I'm so sorry. The word fear, someone used that acronym, we all know the one, feeling false evidence appearing real. But I like to say the one that someone told me was feeling excited and ready. And can we get to a place where change brings about the feeling of being excited and ready? And if not, looking at what in your own mind has to change about your understanding about our day-to-day existence and what's happening and just what's going on in our world. Like I said, grief is just a time to reevaluate everything on every level. And grief, I read that in the beginning, how grief brings up all kinds of emotions, all from the fear, the joy, the anger, the numbness, and even confusion. And to grieve also, I would tell that Martian, that grieving is exhausting. Grieving is exhausting because when an event happens, science has proven this, it's like 10% of our brain capacity is now used to figure out what to do next. That the routine has changed, or that person isn't there, the expectation is no longer there. So your brain is working like really hard to figure out what's going to happen next. I want to stop and acknowledge some people that are writing in, and I need to remove my glasses. Oh, Freya, thank you, Freya. How are you? Grief for me got me in touch with a deep feeling of love. When my sister died suddenly, the crying, wailing changed me, made it obvious how much I loved her, and it deepened my ability to love. I'm honored, Freya. I'm honored. And Jackie, thank you, Jackie. Thank you for being here. And condolences. I know it's an anniversary of your mother's passing. And if you could put that back so that I could, Joe or Diego, yeah, thank you. Just want to thank you for your inspiration, that you helped me when it was a year when my mom died. Love you. Love you. Be blessed. Oh, I am blessed. I am blessed to be here on New Thought Media Network and having beautiful, loving friends acknowledge that they are here with me on the show. And I do want to acknowledge that Sue, my guest that was going to be on, is backstage. And thank you, Sue. And can't wait to have you in front of the camera next time with me. I want to go back to what Freya said in her comment about grief, how it got her in touch with a deep feeling of love. And when her sister died, that the crying and wailing changed her. And that's the beauty of being able to be with our emotions, that it can definitely lead you to a new place, to a place that you had not even imagined that you could go. Into that depth of love is what Freya is saying, the depth of love that she felt for her sister. So I just want to offer, if you give it some thought, if you met that Martian on the street this afternoon, what would you tell him to be on the lookout for grief? What would you tell him? I'm going to get just one more wee bit of advice on that. That if you can be with those emotions, stick with those emotions, get somebody to be with you during those emotional states, it can lead to your unearthing that love for yourself, for that kindness to yourself, to be kind to yourself. That is one of the gifts that I would tell that Martian to be on the lookout for. If yours was to learn how to be kind to yourself, that can definitely happen. And as I said, don't shy away from any of these emotions. Let's talk about it. I was talking with a friend the other day who is of the Jewish tradition, and I just love how that religion really brings reverence and honor to the grief process. So I want to just end this little time together with a poem that just speaks to the emotions that we experience. And I would read this to the Martian as well. And if anybody that knows me knows this is my favorite poem in the whole wide world. And it's The Guest House by Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. They may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from you. And I just think that's so beautiful, so beautiful, that each emotion is a guide, there to guide you on your journey. And as you know, it's never the destination, it's the journey to get there. But do know that you will get there. I just want to thank you for that, and just want to say thank you for watching your Doula for Grief. I am available. I am a grief coach, a registered nurse, and a spiritual practitioner, a religious science spiritual practitioner. And I am here for you. I want you to ask yourself, what do you need today? What do you need today? And whatever that answer is, I want you to go out and do that. And I really want to thank New Thought Media Network for hosting this platform, for their vision of bringing peace, joy, harmony, and prosperity into the world. I want to thank New Thought Media Network for that. And there's a donate button. Please go to the site, New Thought Media Network, and donate so that we can keep having programs of quality that moves us all to a higher level of consciousness. And I also invite you to look at the lineup of programs on New Thought Media Network. You can really find daily, hourly inspiration with the programs. And I'll just talk about a few that I've just really enjoyed listening to and watching. And that's The Cosmic Prayer with Laura Topper. And she's on Mondays at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And Rockin' the Love about relationship is on with Gil and Robin Olmsted. And they're on Wednesdays at noon Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Mountain Time. And I so adore the caregivers, caring for the caregivers. And that's on Monday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And I am just so honored. I'm so happy to have been with you today. I am Bonnie Gonzalez, your Doula for Grief. I do offer individual and group grief coaching. My heart is with you today, and it is filled with love. So go out and enjoy. Thank you. Again, thank you to New Thought Media Network.
New Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience, or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.
Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, for your continued support. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown Atlanta, for your monthly contribution. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, for your monthly contribution. And please help us welcome Om Center for Spiritual Living in La Mesa, California. Thank you for your monthly donation. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, for your most generous donation. And a special thanks to Hefferlin Foundation for your generous technology grant. And Suze Ajit, thank you for your very generous donation. And a super special thank you to Dr. Tracy Brown, RScP. Thanks for being a super donor. And a big shout out to all our committed donors.